I'm thinking what to make a video about today. I don't know, should I talk about the violence between the Democrats and the Republicans? My assumption, mind you, the ones who support Trump and the ones who support Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Or should I talk about the finger pointing at all the political candidates are doing pretty good at? I mean, they're pointing this way and pointing that way and pointing this way. Well, they're actually only running in political parties. They're not really campaigning for the job as president yet. They just want the nomination. Or should I talk about how media is strictly covering them, the news? And people like me, we don't get anywhere in there. So you don't even know there's other people actually running right now. You'd be surprised at how many different people are running right now. You have no idea. Or should I talk about the lack of help I'm getting with my campaign? Promises made and never kept. People who said they were going to do something and never did them. And then they wonder why organizations like the Republican Party and the Democrat Party run this country. Or should I talk about the things that are wrong with this country? How taxation is getting out of control. How the rich is getting richer and the middle class is becoming the lower class. How what used to be a valuable, good income is now a failure to make ends meet. How once the man had to work 2 jobs to feed his family, now the man has to work 2 jobs and his wife has to work 2 jobs to feed their family and they pay their bills. I could go on and on all day long about what's wrong. But truthfully, what is right with this country? The Constitution of the United States still is intact, but Congress is trying to destroy it. The hard-working American is hard-working and getting less and less for it. The rich are making it hands over heels, and the poor are getting poorer. But that really don't sound like what's right with this country, but that's what it is. Maybe I should talk about my platform. How my first promise to you is to bring your voice to Washington, D.C. Not after the election, not just right after the election, for the whole time. To ensure and make Congress realize that it is service of the American people, that they are to serve us, not the world, not some special interest group, and especially not the political parties, but us, each and every one of us, whether we are Democrat, Republican, Independent, or some other party. Whether we are white, black, green, yellow, blue, orange, whether our eyes are wide, narrow, slanted, whether our skin is beige, tan, dark brown, medium brown, almost to a yellow and almost to a black, and never to a white. I have yet seen, unless you consider some albinos among the black community, their skin is almost pure white. It would be maybe the white people, African American albinos. Interesting, isn't it? Or does it matter when, where, or how? I have to bring your word. And I have to ensure that our Congress serves you, all of you, as one people. We are different. Every single one of us is different in some way or the other. But yet we are one nation. And together we can do the job needed. I was talking yesterday with one guy, and every time he come up but, and I came up with a counter. And then a but, and a but. It finally come down to this. But we can't do it because we don't do it. And I said, yes, that's the problem. It's not that it can't be done. It's not that it shouldn't be done. It's not that it needs to be done. It's that we just don't do what needs to be done. We're too lazy as a people. And my third promise to you, to bring leadership to Washington, D.C. Then to ensure that the Constitution of the United States is kept intact and followed as it is written. Not the way we would like it to be written. Not the parts we want and leave out the parts we don't want. But as it is written. That is very important, as it is written. That means that our federal government cannot make a ruling whatsoever on free exercise of religion. What does free exercise of religion mean? It means that you can freely practice your religion. If you want to pray before you start your school day's work or your daily work where you work or before a sporting event, you have that option. The government cannot tell you no. Just because somebody else doesn't believe in God. But yet that person who doesn't believe in God cannot be made to pray. That's where the discrepancy is, and that's where their rule should be. It should be left up to the states, local communities, and the individuals, and no one else. For that is not granted to the United States federal government by the Constitution. And to protect each and every one of your rights, from the newborn baby to the oldest person. I think there's a woman now. But the truth is, all their rights need to be protected. All of them. Now, if the parents for that newborn baby is illegal aliens, sorry. They lucked out. That child is an American citizen. And who knows, that may be the greatest president that ever walked on this earth. And you try to banish him. But if you banish him, maybe to a country where they hate Americans, and he grows up hating Americans, and then when he comes back, he can still be president and hating Americans. Sounds familiar. And their ideals. That can't happen. But the way Congress is trying to enforce what they're enforcing. But that child's rights need to be protected. That child's privileges need to be protected. And above all else, the promises made to that child by our Constitution must be adhered to. If you want to read the promises that are made, it's not very long. Just read the preamble. Taxation. All governments must collect taxes. We all must pay taxes. But it must be fair and equitable, not the way it's done today. We as the American people must support our government. That means your tax. But it must be at a rate that the country, the people, the nation can bear. Not unlimited income. Can Bernie Sanders do everything he says without raising one more penny in taxes? No. Can Hillary Clinton do stuff she says? No. Which one's going to be the greater raise? I don't know. I don't really care because you, the people, can't afford it. We need a new tax system. One that can be adhered to today with the modern technology we have today. A good example of that would be a sales tax. A general sales tax everybody pays. The sales tax, let's say, for example, at 12%. You buy a $30,000 car, you pay 12% sales tax. You buy a $150,000 car, you pay 12% sales tax. You buy a $1 million car, you pay 12% sales tax. Plain and simple. Who pays the most? The guy who buys the $1 million car. Who pays the least? The guy who buys a $30,000 car. You can't afford no car, buy no car, rides the bus, you pay no sales tax. See? That's the way the system works. That's the way it should work. but it don't. And what about our economy? I hear some people say manufacturing is at greatest level it's ever been in this country, which is actually sort of accurate because almost every car owned by that has a foreign company's name is assembled in the United States. Not so for the big three: Chevy, Chrysler, and GM, Chrysler, and Ford. But for Toyota, Nissan, Honda, and all them, they find it's cheaper to assemble them here in the United States. That means Americans are being put to work. That means Americans are sharing at the making of new wealth. That's how it's distributed. I don't know if the pay is equitable and fair, but I would tend to say the American Automotive Union is doing its best to keep that online. See, so now we have creating new wealth by these foreign countries having our cars assembled in the United States. That creates new wealth. Decent pay for the people. That's distribution of wealth. And then, of course, they go out and buy products. May not be a car, may be something else. And that is consumption. Ooh, that would be a vigorous economy. But then there's areas in this country where there is no manufacturing, no jobs, no creating of new wealth, no economic distribution of wealth, no consumption of products beyond the bare minimum. We need to look at that. How can we improve that? What is the problems that are causing that? One of the biggest problems is our government is keeping us apart. You're different than him, so separate. You're different than her, so separate. No, we all are different than each other. There's not a single person here that's the exact same as somebody else. Not even two twins are exactly the same. We're all different in some way, some form, some item. But yet, we are one people, and we got to understand we must celebrate our differences as a united people of one nation. So, that everything? No. Do we need medical for all? We actually have it, it's just nobody knows it. And it's not in Obamacare. Obamacare provides medical for absolutely that many people. Zero. Why do I say that? Because if you don't buy insurance, you get fined. Prior to Obamacare, how many people were without medical in this country? Prior to Obamacare, actuality, how many people in this country did not have medical? I'm talking about every single person in this country. I don't give a doggone if they were a tourist. I don't care if they were a legal alien. I don't care if they were just living here or they were actual American citizens. How many of all of them did not have medical? Oh, again, we got zero. That's right. Every single one of them prior to Obamacare had medical. Medicaid picked it up. Because if you didn't have medical and you had an injury, a sickness, even a pimple on your nose, and you walked into an emergency room and said, look at this, I need some help, they would take care of you. They might just slip it and trade it and give you $1,000 bill, which you can't pay, but Medicare picks up the $1,000 bill. Now, you better have insurance or you're in deep trouble. So, how many people did Obama provide medical for? None. How many people before Obamacare did not have medical? None. Interesting little fact, isn't it? The only purpose Obamacare was designed for was to kick people off of Medicaid and force them to get medical insurance. So, are we going forward, or with the politicians, we're going backwards? International policies. I believe that providing for the common defense of the nation does not necessarily mean we have to go and attack everybody in the world. Nor do I believe it means we have to fight with governments that are different than our own. Nor do we have to go into a nation and tell a nation, look, you people, you don't know how to run your government. You need to have a democratic society. They don't want a democratic society. They're happy with a ruler, or they're happy with their dictator. They're happy with the way their country's set up. Since Bush, second Bush, how much improvement has the Middle East gone through with our interference? Iraq, which was a stable country, is now totally a mess. Syria, which had some of the most beautiful cities in the Middle East, like Damascus and stuff, are all in shambles. Libya doesn't know what it wants to do, where it's going. And Egypt has a warrant out for Hillary Clinton because she tried to overthrow, with some people, the government, present government. Yemen, which was very stable, place for us to go, dangerous. Bahrain. See, seems to be since Bush, our interfering in the Middle East has created a real boiling pot there. Because our Congress cannot accept this one fact. All nations have a right to exist. And each nation, only the people within that nation has a right to decide how they shall be governed, and nobody else. We can stand behind and alongside the people, but we cannot go in with the minority and try to rule the majority. That we cannot do. So if the majority wants Sadat to be president of Syria, what the heck are we doing bombing? We need to tell the supporters that, look, the people have spoken. They want this guy to be their ruler. We can't go in and interfere. Had the people voted no and he says, well, too bad I'm president, we'd be with you, all powerful. But we can't just go in and look at what we've started. ISIS, the evilest of evil. And ISIS needs to be handled and not tit for tat. Really handled, done, and done over with. What am I going to do with ISIS? All I can tell you is I promise you this, and I tend to keep my promises or I'll be dead. It will be fast, it will be quick, and our exercise will be done and over with. That's all I'm going to tell you. Anything else, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. But it will be fast and quick. Foreign trade. Tariffs are designed to support and promote foreign trade with the United States. They are not designed to raise money. Though they do that. It's like a speeding ticket. A speeding ticket was designed to reduce the speed of people driving on the highway. No, now it's designed, they use it to raise money. So they take something that had its good intentions and create it into a monstrosity of a nightmare. So we need to look at our tariff system and how to redo it safely. My cabinet does not need to be made up with tons of politicians. Matter of fact, there's only one position that I think needs to be a politician. All the other positions either don't need to be there or don't need a politician. Ooh, I said one position needs to be a politician. Who's that? Secretary of State. He needs to be a politician. He needs to go into the other nations and do the politician thing. Me, I'm not a politician. I'll walk in there and say, okay, this is the way it is. This is the way that is. This is what I agree to. If you want to meet me, fine. If you don't, well, so long, I'm out of here. So I'm not a politician. That's why I'm doing these videos. I am not a politician. And then, so what am I? If I'm not a politician running for president, I mean, politicians don't know, statesmen. Do you know prior to Lincoln, all candidates were called statesmen? A statesman is a person who cares for the people, the nation, and our Constitution. Lincoln's greatest concern was to keep the nation whole. Keep the people as one. As a united nation that was falling apart. That was his concern. His whole 2 presidencies was all about saving the Union. After that, money, 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 money. And after World War I, gosh, and then World War II, forget it. Now Congress is trying to run the world. They can't even take care of this nation. That's another thing that's part of the second promise, that Congress will only listen to you, the people of the United States, and serve only you, the people of the United States. No other organization, no other group, and especially no political party. You are the masters of the government. So I guess you could say I got a pretty strong platform there. Lot to do. But no, I can't say I have a pretty strong platform. I'd have to say we. Because like I said, I can't do this alone, but we can. We can turn our economy around. We can get the respect of the world. We can allow other nations to grow and develop as they wish to grow and develop. We can take care of our hungry. We can take care of our poor. We can take care of our sick. And they must all be taken care of prior to the rest of the world. We must see to it that every child who goes to school has a pair of shoes, a dress or clothing. Well, let's say clothing. That every child has the books they need, the writing material they need, and the computers that the schools have that they need. Because you know now, under Provide for Common Defense, we have to provide a solid, strong education up to a high school diploma in this nation. Because all militaries require a high school diploma or equivalent. Yes. So with that requirement now, to provide for common defense, we must see to it that each and every citizen has that capability available to them. Interesting, huh? Little clause added here. Changes where everything. People used to say, where in the Constitution is Department of Education? Where is it? It's nowhere in there. Then all of a sudden, the last one left, the Army said you got to have a high school diploma or equivalent to join the Army now. And boom, it's right there in plain sight. Provide for the common defense. High school diploma needed, must be provided. See? That's how a Constitution works. That's how it grows. That's how it lives. Didn't think of that, did you? Our Constitution is not a dead piece of paper. It is so full of life and is evolving every single day. Government does a little something and boo, they have a responsibility to you, the citizens, for that little something they did. And our government has to start realizing that the people can't afford this flamboyant government we have. This humongous, over-expensive, wasteful juggernaut of a federal government that's strapped around the neck of each and every citizen. It must be reduced and changed. One way is to change the tax system. Another way is to reduce the control of the money, or the amount of the money. Congress has a responsibility to raise funds for the government. It really does not have the responsibility to control how it is spent. That is the president's. That's why they give a budget and the president gets to approve it. Otherwise, the president would not have to be involved in approving the budget. They do the budget and that's the way it goes. But no, the president has control. He says yay or nay on how it's spent. Didn't look at it that way, did you? That's why it says that they will do an annual budget and present it to the president for his approval. Because he actually has the control of how it is spent, not Congress. Congress suggests how it is to be spent. The president controls how it will be spent. That's reading and thinking. I'll tell you that. But it's Congress's responsibility, once that budget, whatever it is approved, to raise the monies. So, people, should I go on? I'm just talking to you right now. Are we going to continue to allow our government to deteriorate, to be degenerate to this nation, to drag it down through the political party system? Or are you all going to do the one thing many of you have promised me, to help me, to work with me, to get this program going? It is now darn near impossible. But you know something? The impossible being done makes it great. So, those of you who promised to help me raise funds, let's get busy. Those who promised to get me on ballots, let's get signatures. Those who promised to help me with my campaign, let's get together. Let's start keeping promises that are made. Let the rest of the nation see that we will keep our promises, and for them to expect us to do the same towards them. So this is JD saying, it's all up to you out there, each and every one of you. Together, we can fix this nation. I can't do it alone. Sorry, I can't go around pointing what's good about this guy, what's bad about that guy, what's this, what's that. You can see it yourself. I can tell you what we can do together. You all have a nice day. Thank you for your time. This is JD for president in 2016. Yes, JD is real. JD is truthful. JD is still JD. Or James Dennis Creveau, if you want the long version. But most of you in 2008 used the Reader's Digest version. JD. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. All you who voted JD in 2008, write into your state electoral boards and tell them you want JD as a candidate. James Dennis Creveau. That's all you got to do right now. And if you really want to help, send me $1. If all 8 million of you send me $1, I'll get a Winnebago van and I'll travel this country. And I'll campaign and I'll stop by, and I want to tell each and every one of you, thank you. Personally. So thank you all for supporting me, believing in me, but unless you stop believing in you, we can't do it. And you gotta do it. I can't do it alone. Thank you. JD, President, 2016. 2008, we showed the world there is another way. Now we got to do it. Thank you.